Hey guys, Joe here, the man who thinks ordering Japanese food off of DoorDash is kind of fancy. And I'm here to talk about UFC Fight Night Paris, or UFC Fight Night Gane versus Spivak, and decent amount to discuss on a pretty solid card, so enough talk. Let's get to the fights. So the main event, we had the matchup of home country hero Ciryl Gane looking to bounce back from this horrendous performance he had against Jon Jones, while Spivak was rising fast and looking very good on his road to the top. So a win over Gane could put him in that upper echelon to argue for a title shot that Jon Jones is inevitably going to duck. So at the gate, we see the work coming in from Gane as he's really attacking with low kicks, like side kicks to the leg, oblique kicks as well coming in, which is good because that forces Spivak to stay out. Going to the body with like some of the kicks early on, he could try to get a hold of it, and from there trying to tie up or follow him to the ground if it's like a slip. So going low, forcing him to reach all the way down is very good because Spivak isn't the kind of guy who shoots from way far out. He likes to kind of work his way in to the grappling, so that's pretty smart, I think. And it's very interesting because now that Spivak is having trouble getting in because he doesn't have the best way of getting in. He just kind of has to wade in. Look to duck or like slip a big hook and then trying to come in. It's heavyweight. That's a good enough. If you're really good at doing that, then like yeah, you can go pretty far. You're forcing Spivak to work on his very lacking striking game, I would say. At least lacking in comparison to his grappling, which is where Gane is the thing. This is a striker-grappler matchup straight out of the mid-2000s. So from here, Gane is just putting these shots on, lighting him up, and Gane is one of those guys that I feel like, I like in like watching some of his fights in like the past, I feel like he does the most damage when he's just looking to land. Like when he loads up and is looking to just like let it rip, he doesn't like really. I feel like his accuracy dips a lot. He's a very accurate fighter, but when he's like loading up and throwing like hooks, like he throws hooks like this, and stuff like that. I feel like he just doesn't ever land. At least not as often as you would hope he would. But when he's just like looking to land and kind of get out there, he's hurting guys and he's doing it. Like the shot that hurt JDS that led to the finish was like just a jab. Like he caught a jab off him, like just a counter jab. So I feel like that's like where he's his best. And so from here, he was just kind of doing that basically the whole fight and just lighting him up over and over with everything. And eventually Spivak crumbles and gets a TKO finish in the second round with a dominant performance by Ciryl Gane. So what's next for Ciryl Gane? Well, I propose two matchups. He takes on the winner of Almeida and Curtis Blades coming up, which is pretty soon, I think, later on this year, like maybe a month or so. And I think if Almeida wins that, can he stop the teep kick into double leg? And against Blades, is his wrestling really that much like improved like he was touting? Apparently he's been working on with the judo guy. Judo historically has had a very good matchup against wrestlers because of their great center of gravity and their ability to control and stuff takedowns. Look at Carl Parisian, who fought a ton of wrestlers, and a lot of wrestlers really struggled to get him down throughout his career. So judo, very good against, I think historically, stylistically, it's very good against wrestlers, especially the ones that like want to shoot on you like that. And it helps you out in the clinch, obviously. So interesting that he's going with judo as his background here, and I'm definitely interested in that. The other matchup that I'm sure everybody is clamoring for, me too, admittingly, is Tom Aspinall. And I'm sure both guys want it. Aspinall is, if he wins against Ciryl Gane, he asserts that he's got next after Pavlovich. And while if Gane wins, he continues to attempt to prove that he just had a really bad day against Jones. So, something interesting there. And then for the co-main event, the big fight for me, I was actually most excited for this one. We had a big fight at women's flyweight, as it was Rose Namajunas jumping up in weight to go to flyweight to take on Pharaoh. So this fight was a 3-round stand-up fight. First round, we saw Rose looking to prioritize low kicks, which I really liked. But Pharaoh was darting in and out with some pretty good shots and was stuffing the 2 takedown attempts from Namajunas. A close round across the board for both, but I do lean Pharaoh. Second round, it was... Oops, I got lost in my notes. I had to scroll down on my notes, as they were going down. So second round, though, Pharaoh's kind of launching kicks, something that's always like really cool and flashy. They look good. When Rose slips, Pharaoh does go for a takedown, tries to Holly Homer for a little bit, but then throws a combination on the break. Pharaoh then slips, and Rose tries to take the back, but there's an accidental collision of heads. Accidental collision of heads, and it opens a cut on Pharaoh's head. And it was pretty gnarly, but hey, she fought through it. And I do think that round was also for the control Pharaoh round. Final round, and Rose is just really going at it, trying to lay it all out, because she knows she's probably down 2-0, going for it all, or maybe she thinks she won the first round and she's got to solidify this round for her. And so going after it with kicks, takedown attempts, and near the end of the round, I think she might have even hurt Pharaoh with a good shot. But I'm with the judges here. I think Pharaoh won 2 rounds to 1, 29-28. That's how I scored it for Pharaoh. So what's next? I think Rose should probably go back to 115. I'm not sure. Sorry, nose is really itchy. Allergies. I'm not sure how much she cuts weight, but she looked a little undersized in my opinion, and it's probably... I think she was best when she was utilizing her length to her advantage at 115. That's just me, personally. Obviously she was champion there, so I'm sure a lot of people might agree with me there. But the big topic, and I have this written down as Pharaoh versus Blanchfield. They didn't fight. They might fight in the future, who knows. But the big topic out of this fight night for me is the idea of who deserves the next title shot at women's flyweight. It's between Pharaoh and Erin Blanchfield. So that much we know for sure. So unless there's a draw in the upcoming title defense for Alexa Grasso, it's Manon or Blanchfield for sure. So who should it be? Now, I thought about this for a while. I was playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I was thinking about this constantly, to the point where I had to turn the game off and really kind of think about this more and do some more research on my end. And I've come to this conclusion. I think it's Pharaoh. I personally don't know how much stock I put into beating someone that's moving and changing divisions for their first fight down. Like, it's different if, like, Rose came to 125, finished Caitlin Chukagian or something like that, beat Caitlin Chukagian, and then lost to Pharaoh. Then that's different, obviously. But this is her first fight at 125. We have to see what it's like. A similar case in a different division to kind of clarify that is, what if like Anderson Silva, like, remember how he used to make like random jumps to 205 back in the day? Let's say he never fought James Irvin, and he fought Forrest Griffin, and somehow in some alternate timeline Forrest Griffin beat Anderson Silva. That would have given him like a pretty good bump, but at the end of the day, people are going to be going, oh, but this was Anderson's first fight, and you used your size against him to beat him. Like, your size was a factor in this fight. That's fair. That's very fair, because I thought that was the only way Forrest was going to beat him, use his size and strength. And I don't know how much stock I put into that. So I'm also going to bring up this factor, though, as well. Coming into August, because technically it's September 3rd when I'm recording this. I want to say this month, but it's technically September. So coming into August, I thought the clear number one contender was Manon Pharaoh. And Erin Blanchfield, she got the huge win over Talia Santos, which, for the record, I still think this. I think she beat Valentina Shevchenko in her fight. So Blanchfield probably has the biggest win on her resume, but going into August, I thought Manon Pharaoh was the number one contender. And I feel like this is how we have situations like Belal Muhammad or Beneil Dariush, where these guys have earned title shots 5 times over. I don't want to see Manon Pharaoh earn title shots 5 times over. I think it hurt those divisions in those instances, and it hurt some legitimacy for that belt. And so for the sake of this division, which has finally gotten good, I think it's better to go with Manon Pharaoh, who is older than Aaron Blanchfield, who's very, very, very young. I think Aaron taking the loser of the upcoming title fight is probably a good move, because I don't like rushing these prospects to a title fight. I kind of like the idea of putting tougher challenges in their way. Let them grow. Let them earn their prospect tag, and then once they have that kind of tag of like, oh, this guy's getting pretty good, yeah, let's do it. Let's give him a different kind of challenge to rise up. I have that problem with like Sean O'Malley's rise to the top, Conor McGregor's rise to the top, what they're kind of doing with Ian Gary, what they're kind of doing with, what's his name? Paddy. Paddy Pimblett. I can't believe I forgot his name. And Aaron Blanchfield has had a very tough run to the title, but Jessica Andrade has had a downfall this year, so that win doesn't look as good, as well as the fact that it was on very short notice. But the Talia Santos win is legit, and it's huge. That being said, I think the resume is a little louder for Manon Pharaoh. I think this is an interesting choice between the two, and I don't think there is a right answer objectively. I think I'm right, but someone else could think they're right, and neither one of us is objectively right. So I'm genuinely curious on what you guys think. Did my talk persuade you, or are you guys fully on Team Blanchfield? And for the record, I'm a Blanchfield fan. I'm not a Manon Pharaoh fan, so think about that. But for the rest of the card, Benoit Saint-Denis slugged it out with Thiago Moises before getting a TKO in the second round. Volkan Ozdemir blasted Bogdan Guskov on the feet before getting a rear naked choke in the first round. William Gomes got a third round TKO with a groin kick on Yanis Jamori, and it looked like it hit the belt line a little bit, but at the same time, you could see it also hitting the cup a bit. So in my mind, that makes it a low blow. In my experiences, if it hits the cup at all, it feels like a low blow, and it's not fun. Then again, it's probably way more fun than getting hit without the cup like that. So Morgan Sherry got 2 sick body kicks over Manolo Cecchini for a big first round win. Taylor Lapillus beat Cowlin Lawgrenner by unanimous decision. Andre Lusa beat Reese McKee by decision, as well as Nora Cornoli beat Jocelyn Edwards by decision. And Farid Basharat got an arm triangle win in the first against Kalitzino Rodriguez. All these names, I finally messed up on the easiest one for me. Jacqueline Cavalcanti beat Zara Farin by decision in a fight that has some very hilarious Vince McMahon directions kind of style on commentary. But that is it for me. Be sure to check out the preview show, which is coming out pretty soon. I already shot it with Carl. It was fantastic. It was really funny. You can see me and Carl attempt to be professional, but then look to find ways to talk about other things than the fights that are happening, because that card isn't that great. And if you miss me, come on, I understand. It's okay. You can miss me. I'll be back next week, though. Don't worry. I'll cover the pay-per-view. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, don't worry. I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you for watching.